We gotta take you high.
All right, good day, everybody. We're going to take a quick look at the ValidatorX UI and spend a little bit of time talking about ValidatorX strategy. So ValidatorX is your liquid staking protocol. You can see we have about 54 billion Pulse locked up. Those people have basically chosen to take their Pulse. They come over here. They say, hey, you know what? Lock up some of my Pulse, hit the stake button, and then their stake is now earning a yield. And they get a receipt token called UPulse. That's the receipt token. And this UPulse, you can see each UPulse right now is worth about 1.08 Pulse. And, a couple days from now, that'll be 1.09 because every UPulse you have continues to stack more and more yield. So you're earning a yield by being a participant in a validator pool. Now, the yield last week was about 14.49 or 489. And that was an APR. But since launch on January 27th, we launched the APR average is somewhere around 24%. When we have high gas fees and the chain is really busy, you'll see that APR jumps up for the week. And those people who are earning a yield over here requested the option to, automate taking some of that yield and purchasing their favorite token and having that stack up in their MetaMask or, whatever their favorite wallet address is. So we're going to take a quick look at that. And that's the ValidatorX strategy, where you're taking some of the yield you make by participating in ValidatorX and turn that into your favorite token. So you hit this button here, and you'll see that there's a smart contract builder right here. And this smart contract builder allows you to set the parameters on how much of your yield you want to harvest and, buy and burn buy your favorite token, or burn if you want. We'll run through some of that. And before I start running through the parameters, let me take you through a quick overview of what we're talking about here. So when you come to the ValidatorX strategy, again, what some people wanted us to do was find a way to auto swap for us. Because when you're part of the validator and you're earning Pulse, you start earning this PLS token. Well, is there a way to turn that into my favorite token? Can I just have, say 50% of this? Can I get 50% of this yield to go purchase my token? And yeah, we're going to go build a VXS automated buy. Now, some people say, well, what if I don't want to buy my favorite token? What if I just want to buy a stable coin? That's not a problem. You want to take your Pulse rewards and turn them into a stable coin? Check. You can do that. Once you turn it into a stable coin, those stable coins will be sent to the address you tell it to send to, whatever MetaMask. It doesn't have to be a MetaMask, whatever address, OX, you type in the address, it'll send it to that address. Then we put in a founders feature. It's like, well, there were some founders who contacted us, say, hey, you know what? I don't want to buy my token. I just want to burn it. Can you automate that? Can you build a VXS such that instead of just an auto swap, we also get to burn? And the answer is yes. So instead of sending them to your favorite address, send them to the OX address. You will be able to take your Pulse rewards, your validator rewards, buy your token and send them to a dead address if that's what you want to do. And then as an added feature for, there's some founders that are building their tokens based on these liquidity pools. It's like, yep, you have the option of going and buying, taking your Pulse rewards, saying, you know what, I want to buy token A first. Then I want to add in, I want it to route through A and then go buy token B and then add in and go buy token C and have that go to my MetaMask address. You jump through different liquidity pools, building volume for your token. You have that option in a VXS smart contract. You get to go build this contract and tell it what you want it to do. So what is the ValidatorX? It's a smart contract that you get to build. And I want to run you through a possible scenario here so that you can kind of see what we're talking about here. So let's say that you come up with this idea. It's like, yep, I want to swap 50% of my yield. If I earn 1,000 Pulse, you see that in the blue. I want to earn if my yield is 1,000 Pulse for this week or this month, I want to take half of that and I want to go buy my favorite token. Well, in order to do that, you have to unstake some of your UPLS. Some of this UPLS you have, we have to go cash that in, turn it back into Pulse, and then that Pulse gets to turn into your token. So here's a quick note right here. You say in a wallet that has 100 million UPulse, it's not worth 100 million Pulse. It's actually worth probably pretty close to about 109 million at this point in time, or we're getting really close. We saw it was 1.08 something. So by the time you use this thing, it might be worth 109 million. Now, what you're asking this contract to do after you build this thing is saying, hey, once I go from 109 to 110, That's what I said. I want to, once I have 1 million pulse. So you went from 109 to 110. Say, hey, take half of that and go build me. We're going to take half of it here, 500,000 pulse. We want to go purchase our token. So what's going to happen is your smart contract's going to go unstake enough of the pulse. It's going to take some of the U pulse and turn it back into pulse, and then use that pulse to purchase your token. So if your initial was somewhere around 100 million U pulse, and so that's equal to this 109 right here, 109 million pulse. What's going to happen is when the ratio turns to 110, so now it's worth 110. You notice afterwards your U pulse supply is going to go down, but the value of that U pulse is still more than where you started. Because you earned 1 million, but you're going to scrape off 500,000 of it, and so you're going to have the even though the U pulse count goes down, the amount of pulse you have in the ValidatorX system is still more than what you started with, because you pulled off. Actually, that should be about one. That should be a 5 there, huh? 109.5, because you're pulling off 500,000, not 600,000. All right. So anyway, a little typo there. No big deal. So how's this thing work? Well, you got to set up the parameters. You got to tell it, hey, I want half, 0.5 to buy and send. I got to give it the token address that I want to buy. And then you got to set up some minimums and maximums and some other parameters. So let's say that you do harvest some yield, and your contract swapping. Well, you're gonna, let's say you have a little bit more tokens in your that need to be swapped. Well, you don't want to swap if you have less than 200,000 pulse. It's like, no, don't swap if it's less, because I don't want to pay a transaction fee for less than that. And then you might be able to set a maximum. It's like, you know what? I don't want slippage to come into play. So every time you make a swap, make sure it's no more than 1 million pulse. Because what happens if you go and earn, this week or this month, it's like, holy shit, we had a lot of gas fees. I got 4.1 million I get to scrape out of there. Or actually, let's say I earned 4.1. So I'm going to scrape out 2.05. That's how much I get to take off. So you got 2 million. You got this max swap right here. It's going to go swap 1 million of them. And then how long do you want to wait before it swaps another one? So that's where the swap frequency comes in. It's like, wait 6 hours. Let the market slide. I don't want to create slippage. So you got the option of setting the frequency. So it's like, wait 6 hours and then swap again. Get that other 1 million out of there. And then you also have this minimum, because this over here, this is only 50,000. This part here that's left, it's only 50,000 tokens. Like, you know what? Don't swap that. Wait until we get the next draw in here and then swap, because I set this minimum up. I don't want to swap if I only have, 1,000 pulse in there. That doesn't make any sense to make a swap. The gas fee is going to eat me up. And then you have this, how often do you want to unstake? So I did earn this fee up here. I earned this. It's like, okay, so pull it out. That was my earnings. But how often do you want me to go back and check and then unstake? And so it's like, yeah, every 24 hours, go check. See if I've earned enough. Go see if I got. And then just in case, there's another one about this, hey, minimum pulse profit. That's the 1 million. Don't pull it unless I've made at least 1 million. Check to see what I got going on. And if I made 1 million, go ahead and unstake it, or check it every 24 hours. And we're going to make sure it's a minimum before I start unstaking anything. And so you got to set these parameters up to build this smart contract. And that's what happens over here on this part here. That's what you're doing. So you put in your total stake. This person here, this is my smart contract. And when you build a smart contract, there's this address down here, and that's my address forever with this address. And I can update it. If all of a sudden I go and stake some more, I can go back and turn this, instead of having, 50 million, I can turn that and say, no, I have 100 million now. So I can come back over here, delete that. Now I have 100 million U-Pulse. Now this harvest yield, what if you wanted to harvest and it's just pulse? It's like, you know what? I made some pulse. I don't want to turn it into a token. I just want to send the pulse to my wallet. That's this button here. And you can hit these little eyes and it tells you what's going on. It says, enter the pulse yield you want to send to a wallet. And you're not going to use this yield for compounding. You want to take it out, scrape it out, and send it. Well, if you want that option, you can put in a number here. Here's the buy and send portion. This is where I put in the 50%. And if you hit the I, it'll tell you, hey, make sure you use a decimal for this portion of the yield you want to take out. If you want to scrape 30% of the yield, then change this to a 0.03, or 0.3. And then the 70% will just get compounded and keep making you more money, through the validator system. You got to choose a router. If your liquidity for your token that you're about to buy is on V1, make sure you choose this option. If most of your liquidity for the token you want to buy is on V2, PulseX V2, select that option. This is the token I want to buy. This is the up token address. And maybe it's like, you know what? I want to buy up token, but then I want to route it and then go buy UpX. Maybe I'm one of those founders. It's like, okay, I want to go to up token first. I can hit this plus sign right here. And then you can see swap path number 2. I can say, so it's going to buy up token first, and then I can paste in here the address for UpX. So it'll take my yield, it'll take the pulse, it'll buy up, and then it'll sell the up, and it'll go buy UpX. And you can add as many tokens as you want. You can jump through as many tokens as you want to distribute that yield. So it's going to jump from token A to token B, and then token C might be your last token, and that's the one that will be sent to your MetaMask address. Me, I don't need to jump through other tokens. I'm just going to buy up token with my yield. I'm going to set my minimum at 50,000 pulse. Don't make a swap if it's less than 50,000. If you've unstaked my pulse and you made swap, and there's a little bit of dust left in there, don't make a swap with just if it's less than 50,000. And then here's my max. If I get a lot of yield, don't make a swap if it's more than 2 million. Take your time, make a 2 million pulse swap. I'll come back in a few hours. I'll do another 2 million if I got that much yield. Come back in another few hours, make another 2 million pulse swap, and I'll space it out so I don't eat a bunch of slippage. I'm not going to use the burn address here. I'm not gonna burn anything, and I'm gonna buy and send it. This is the send address. You better make sure you send this to your address, or if you want, copy this and send it to me. I'll take that stuff from you. Thank you very much. But no, this is very important right here. I'm just joking around. Please make sure you paste your address in here. I'll go over here to my MetaMask. I'll open it up for you. This is just a test wallet, so you're just going to see some test value. This is my address, 2643OX74. And if you come back over here, you see that OX742643. My yield is going to get turned into the up token, and it's going to be sent to this address. And I can hit update. Of course, I'm not going to update it, and so this will be the only contract this address can have. So the address that I connected to this wallet right here, it can only have one VXS contract, and this is the one. If you want to come back and change it and change the parameters, you're welcome to do that. Hit the update button, and it will update for you. Now, once you go through the process of setting up your smart contract, you have to jump over here to executor, and so this is the part that executes on you. And so here's the swap frequency. How often do you want it to swap? Let's say you harvested 2.05 million pulse. How often do you want to swap? Well, you set the hours here. Maybe you set that at like every 6 hours. And so based on mine, if I have my maximum swap was 2 million, it'll swap out 2 million pulse. 6 hours later, it'll look at my thing and say, hey, do you still have some yield here? Yep. And if it does, it'll swap again. And it'll purchase some more up token and send it to my wallet. And then the unstaked frequency, it's like, how often do you want me to go over there and check to see if you have enough yield? And it's like, okay, check that every 24 hours for me. And when you check it, make sure the minimum profit, don't take out unless it's, and I got 100,000 here, but I could change that to 1 million. Don't take it out of don't unstake unless I've got 1 million pulse that I'm unstaking. And then there's a minimum gas or maximum gas fee. You don't want to make a bunch of swaps and spend all your yield on gas. So tell it hey, only make the swap when the gas fees are low. And again, you can change that. Maybe you want to be a little bit more aggressive. It's like, you know what, make the swap anything under 4, and then you update that. Now, once you go through the process of building your contract and you set up your execution parameters, here's where you're going to deposit your pulse. And you come over here and say, you know what, I'm going to deposit 2 million UPulse. Now remember, it's only going to be pulling out, whatever you set the withdrawal part is, some of the parameters. But you can put your UPulse in here in the smart contract, and you can no need to go put all 100 million or 50 million, just the ones that are going to be needed for the contract to pull. And if you don't have enough UPulse in here for the next time it goes to pool, it'll just sit idle until you deposit enough UPulse. Then it'll say, okay, now we can go and unstake that, grab the pulse, and swap it into the tokens they wanted to swap it into. So there's no need to deposit all of your UPulse. Just deposit enough so that the transactions can go through. It's almost like gas fees. You know, in your MetaMask, some of us only have enough Pulse to deal with the gas fees. And that's kind of what you're doing here with your UPulse. You put enough UPulse in there to actually let the contract do the work. You don't need to put all of your UPulse in. So that's ValidatorX. And if, oh, by the way, the next box down here, if you decide it's like, okay, I'm done with this contract. I've DCA'd in, I bought my tokens I wanted. Now I'm just going to let it compound and compound. Or maybe you pulled all your validator stuff, so you don't need this. You can come down here, and if you have any UPulse left in this little place for the you know the smart contract to execute, you can withdraw all of that. And any dust that you might have, any pulse in here that did not get used to purchase your token because it was less than the minimum, you can withdraw all that too. So yeah, ValidatorX allows you to automate taking your yield from PulseChain, from being a validator, and purchase any token you want with a given set of parameters. And if you need any help with these parameters at all, it's like, hey, I'm still a little bit confused, please don't hesitate to go into our Telegram room. Our Telegram room is very helpful. We'll answer any questions you have. We'll help you set this damn thing up if you want us to. It's let me see if I can do this, .me/UPABNS. Up, always buying, never selling. All right, that's our VXS strategy UI. Hope you guys found this valuable. And if you have enough UPulse, go use the hell out of this thing. It's a great way to harvest some yield and purchase the token and just DCA into whatever token you love. All right, everybody have a blessed day. Hey, you know what? Before I kick you out of here, don't forget to go over here and hit +X. We have a lot to offer in this ecosystem, not just ValidatorX. But yeah, if you don't know about Up and Up X, you better learn, because those tokens are going to break some records in crypto. LPX, amazing. You're going to want to come into our Telegram room and talk to us about LPX if you haven't done so, if you're not aware of it. And then ValidatorX, of course, that's the one we were talking about today. All right, everybody, have a blessed day.